One more again. Critical hustle. The hustle continues. Yeah. Bring it in. Yeah. Yeah. It's John Black. I'm just sitting off in King Benny's. They get any, we get plenty.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy John Black. I'm back with another episode of The Trip of a Lifetime. You know what I'm saying? This is volume 2 of the T.H.C tour vlog that I'm putting together. Last video that I did was sort of an introductory video. I didn't get too much into the trip on that one. So we're gonna start really technically on the second volume talking about the cities we went to. First stop on the tour was San Antonio, Texas.
Antonio, man, tonight, San Antonio.
Holding it down.
This is a crazy story, the way it all pans out. The first venue I reached out to, they said they could accommodate it. And, you know, as I was going together, putting together a lineup, I'm like, I don't really know too many cats out here. So let me, you know, tap in and see who I could talk to that might be able to plug me with some artists I could put on the bill. And the person that stuck out the most to me was the homegirl, Sherril Metal. And I didn't realize I knew her more than I thought I knew her. We used to go out to San Antonio back in the day when I was part of another group, and also went, you know, as a solo artist and performed a few times out there. And she was there at the time that I went. I think it was the first time I had ever gone, and we performed at this place called the Pedicab Bar and Grill. Now, if you're like OG status in San Antonio, you might remember that. If you're young, you might not remember it. It ended up burning down to the ground, but we ended up going on 25-cent wing night. We got booked to do a show there on 25-cent wing night, and it was crazy. Exactly how you would think it would be if people offered 25-cent wings. You dig what I'm saying? So that was a great show. Come to find out through research after we had talked, one of the pictures she had taken at the Pedicab Bar and Grill, she tagged me in. I didn't realize we were already friends on Facebook. I reached out to her on Instagram. The picture she took, she tagged me in it back in the day, and I ended up using it as the cover of my first mixtape, the appetizer. I don't even know if you can find that online. Long story short, I just reached out to her. You know, like most times artists are kind of like self-conscious, and it's like, I don't want to reach out, you know. I was like, hey, you know, I'm throwing this show on this day at this venue. Do you know some artists that I can put on the bill? And she was like, yeah, I know some artists I can plug you, but what, you know, why are you doing it at this venue? I was like, well, that's the only venue that reached back when I sent out the submission email for me to perform there. And she was like, well, you know, I think I can find you something better. I know this guy, and he puts on this monthly. It's called How We Do It Limelight. This cat named Spy MC. So I said, all right, well, that's cool. We'll see what he says, and you know. And she was like, well, send me some of your music, you know. So she was like, man, this music is really dope. I'd like to get you, I'll talk to Spy and see if you could be on the show. But, you know, when you come up, maybe you can come on the radio show I have. And she's on a radio show with the homie D Major on 90.1 KSYM, you know what I mean, out in San Antonio, and it's called the Urban Suite, you know what I mean, and they do hip hop. So I was like, yeah, that's a bet, okay, and it's FM, so I had to go get some like editing music. Shout out to King Benny Productions. I had done a lot of music over there. My last project, The Hustle Continues, I had recorded there. So I was like, well, let me go in there. I recorded a few new songs to go with the t-shirts that I was packaging for the tour. It was tour merch. And so the tour merch, the shirt came with, which is this shirt right here. It came with a 4-track EP. I was like, hey bro, I need some edited tracks. They're gonna put me on the radio, you know? And so he's like, yeah, no doubt, no doubt. So he hooks it up, he does the editing and stuff. I go over there, we knock it out. So I start making preparations for the show, and you know, I got the tracks to him, and whoop-de-whoop. So the time comes for the How We Do It Limelight, and Spy hits me up. I had ended up talking to him. He hits me up, and he's like, yeah, it's gonna be this. And what it ended up being was the How We Do It Limelight showcase, and it was also this cat Evolve's CD release. The way it worked out was the Limelight was on the 19th. How We Do It Limelight was on the 19th. And the 18th I had day off. And then the 17th was the actual, so the 19th was the start of the tour. The 17th is when the radio show is. So I'm like, bruh, well, I gotta do what I gotta do. Road warrior. I'm gonna make this trip from Houston up to San Antonio and just do a turnaround. The thing is, it airs on a Monday at 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. So I'm leaving Houston at like 7, and then they're doing all this construction up there off some street, start with an R. And so I'm trying to get to KSYM, and the Waze is sending me all kind of places the wrong way. So I'm just like, man, oh my God, I'm finna be late. And I don't like being late. I like to be places set up, be there at least 30 minutes early. I was like, oh man. So I get up there, I get there just in the nick of time, about 7 minutes before we're supposed to go on. I get up in there and
KSYM 98.1 FM. Welcome San Antonio to another edition of the Urban Suite. I am your host, D Major, here to bring you the best.
Alright, it's totally past my bedtime.
We just heard music from John Black with Hustle Is a Habit, music from Sniper Shot, Mish, and Yusef Days with What Kind of Music. This is the music, this is the Urban Suite. KSYM 91.1 FM, light show.
All right.
Great track.
Thank you, man. That's probably everybody's favorite track out of all the songs I've ever done. Everybody's like, play light show. So
Really?
yeah.
No matter where you go.
No matter where I go. Man, I want to get it. I got y'all the edited version, but I'm trying to put that on somebody's Quiet Storm mixtape on one of these old school stations, because I think that's going to be the one to,
If it's.
you know what I mean? They're going to get me on a Carnival cruise with Sinbad with that one.
Oh, God.
we just had a really good conversation about, reminiscing about the pedicab and just, dope hip hop artists and just a lot of stuff. We just connected, and it was a really good interview. You know what I mean? It felt like more of a conversation. So they showed me a lot of love. I pieced them off with some shirts, and I had to make it back to Houston because I had to come down and pack the rest of my stuff, get the car. I got back home. I left there about 1:15, 1:20, and got back to Houston about 4. And yeah, it was amazing. I was so amped up. I wasn't even tired the whole ride back. I was sleepy but not tired. You know what I mean? Like, I could go. I'm good. 3 hours is nothing. So I make it back home, and the next day I kind of get everything together and just make sure I got all my little final things. Some stuff I still left. I had ended up getting posters. My the Hustle is Critical tour posters, and I didn't even get to take them out on the road, so that sucks. We ended up going and getting a rental from George Bush Airport. Some people tell you it's more expensive to rent from the airport. That's not true. I tried to rent from some of the neighborhood locations, and it was more expensive. You know what I'm saying? So it was, I think, like a 2019 or 2020 Toyota Camry, 40 miles to the gallon. I'm cool. You know what I'm saying? I'm probably only gonna have to gas up 5 times at the most from here to California. My hotel's booked, everything like that. Mostly I used Hotwire. Some of it I think went through Priceline, but it was mostly hotwire.com. You know what I mean? And that's just what I used to book, and not saying they have the best prices. They had the best prices for me at the time. So we ended up staying at the Red Roof Inn Plus on the San Antonio Riverwalk. It's by the Riverwalk or something like that. So it wasn't too far from the venue. Time-wise, it was about 6-minute drive. So we leave Houston about 3:34, and so we booking it because it's about like 3.5 hours to San Antonio. 3 hours if you're speeding, but I don't got good luck on speeding on I-10, so I just don't do it. So we mash it.
Gas.
I already know where we at. Tall Tees and more. Ain't even gotta ask no questions. We get to San Antonio, we get to the venue, we have enough time to go to the hotel, check in, put the bags down, get dressed, and mash. We gotta be out. We just touched down in San Antonio, down here by Cesar Chavez Boulevard, you know what I'm saying? I'm out here. So we get to the venue, and I meet some really, really, really cool people. As soon as we step in, we end up meeting this chick, Annika, and her boyfriend. We're talking, and come to find out, they know the venue owner and stuff. So we're just talking, and Annika's like, hey, y'all want some shots? And I'm like, man, it's pretty early in the night before I go on. I don't know what time I'm going on, but it's pretty early in the night. So I don't know if I really just want to drink. But San Antonio.
Salute.
Salud. You know what I mean?
Cheers. More money, less problems.
I'm ready for another.
And that's how our night started off. And, you know, some of the other artists start showing up. And, you know, I really got to send a shout out to Evol.
Spinning 16, fuck a rapper for free. No energy, I'll make you till your ears bleed.
One thing I'm going to tell artists is that when you go perform live, if you got merch, you should just go down to your little local, you know, goods store, you dig, and get you a little $39.95 collapsible plastic table. It saves you a lot of heartache later on. There was a lot of equipment that I didn't bring that we'll get to later on in the series that I wish I would have had. He's like, hey man, can we share some space? And he's like, yeah, you know. So he let us have half his table. Also, the homie War Weapon, he had brought his own table, and so he had his stuff set up. He had like a specialized escape deck he had done, you know what I mean, with his like dope brand of art. His art is like super dope, you know what I mean? So if you get a chance, you should check his stuff. I met another cat out there named Boots, you know what I'm saying? Boots Too Blessed, I think that was his Instagram name. Real dope dude, real dope artist, you know what I'm saying? He has some shirts for sale. I wish I'd have bought them while I was there, but I'm probably gonna hit him up on his online store and have him ship it to me. The time comes and, you know, I get on stage and the homie Gusty Wins is manning the merch table, people coming up, checking it out, you know, they want to see what you're about, and, you know, so I get on stage, my turn to go up, and Annika and Ryan, her boyfriend, were like, man, we got to go to work tomorrow, we got to go home, but we're going to stay for your set, and I'm really appreciative that they stayed.
All right, without further ado, if you're in the building, can you make some noise for John Black?
I get on stage, I'm already faded, I'm feeling it, I'm just like, if you ain't doing nothing and feel like, you know, participating, you can come up to the front. But if not, I just don't give a fuck. Let's run that shit. This song is called Breakthrough. Hey, 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 hey. Shout out DJ Dennis Lloyd. Look, hey. I'm a shining star, still got dry, even mine is star. In a world full of passion, mine is bars. Life is hard, ups and downs like a slide guitar. Shout out to DJ Dennis Lloyd. You know, I was like, bro, if you feeling like scratching, you know, go ahead, do your thing, do your little DJ thing while I'm performing, man. You know, I appreciate you. And he spun real dope. He was real dope. You know, I get on stage, I rock out, do my thing. And the thing about San Antonio crowds, you know, like they're cool, but they respect the music. So if you coming with it, you might get them dudes in the crowd just like, you know what I'm saying? But they giving you that, but they giving you them, okay, you coming with something, you know what I mean? So
Y'all make some noise for John Black one more time, let's go.
It felt good to be on stage, rocking. It had a nice size stage. I was trying to hit side to side and all that, you know. I got off there, like, man, good stuff. You know, they was up there videotaping it. You know, I said, man, I appreciate you videotaping. They was recording on their phones. And I got off stage, man, and, you know, I met this cat, 8. He was a dope guy, man. He came, showed me some love. We chopped it up, talked about Larry June the P, and you know what I'm saying, music that we both enjoy, and family, and all this other type of stuff. Is a real deep dude, man. Real cool cat, man. IB hustles, War Weapon came with it, Apa Soul came with it, Brain Shots came with it, Doc and Fate came with it. I didn't forget, Doc and Fate came with it, Creed 23 Rec, Spy MC did his thing up there. Everybody was just really, really dope. Brain Shots was dope. Like, everybody there was just really lyrically up to par. You know what I mean? Some shows you can do and it's just real varied on how it's gonna go, but I'm faded, feeling good, you know what I'm saying? We get hungry, we go over to this place called Tacos El Reggio. I don't know if you're from San Antonio, know anything about this place, but that food was good. IB hustles. He's from Colorado, but you know, he had hooked up with Evolve, they're homies, and I think Evolve's from Texas, Donna, Texas. And he was like, yo, you go next door, go to Tacos El Reggio, and get the beans. If you're gonna get anything, get some beans, because it's cold. So I get like a couple of pastor tacos, you know what I'm saying? And I know I butchered the Reggio, but I could say that El Pastor. You know what I'm saying? I got some pastor, some fajita, and then I got the beans. Now let me tell you something about these beans. These beans was slamming. They was good. Best beans maybe I've ever had. You know what I'm saying? And they had sausage. They had some like other stuff in there. And then I looked, and they got hot dogs. They had some hot dogs in there, and I ain't never just had no beans with no cut up hot dogs. And the thing was, it wasn't like the Bar S. You know what I'm saying? The Bar S brand. It wasn't the Ballpark Franks. It was them pink ass food hot dogs. You know what I'm saying? And they got some pink ass hot dogs. You know what I'm saying? And so they had them pink hot dogs cut up in there, and that was throwing me for a loop. But I ate it anyway, and it was good. You know what I'm saying? And the hot dogs are real soft. I'm not used to. Maybe because they stewed them for so long, but you know, it was just pink soft hot dogs in there. And you know, it took some time for me to get my mind around it, but I ate it and it was so good. I'm glad I did. And I'm glad I went out to San Antonio and got to experience San Antonio hospitality. So, you know, I got to really send a shout out to Sherril Metal, D Major, Spy MC, homegirl Annika, Ape, IB Hustles, Boots, everybody on the bill, Creed 23, Brain Shots, Doc and Fate, Evolve. Who else was on the bill? Doc, Fate, Apaso, and War Weapon, you know? And it was a fire lineup. It was a really dope experience to be around so many great artists. And, you know, I hope to link with a lot of them in the future. That's about all the time I have. I hope y'all tune in for Volume 3, which is going to be the Amarillo trip, which actually carries over from San Antonio to Amarillo, and then Amarillo crosses over into Albuquerque, and then Albuquerque and Amarillo cross over into Arizona. It was a whole thing. And in the next episode, I'm gonna introduce you guys to a couple of people that were really instrumental in helping us make some inroads as we traveled west. You know what I mean? So again, much love. Thank you for tuning in. John Black, The Trip of a Lifetime, The Hustle is Critical vlog. This is Volume 2, and Volume 3 is on the way. And that's a story. But that's a story for another time. So until then, peace.
Yeah. Hey, it's John Black. Let's get it. Feeding up negative energy, the definition of supremacy. I'm limitless, built for this, what is you telling me? Right to the end like I'm Kennedy. I built up an underground legacy, have hard games sold separately. Lil Breeze, MJ to the game, same DNA, 23 of me. I'ma sit back on a